Continuation of chapter 1, the children and spirit, the teaching of innocence. The language of the seven spiritual laws has to be different when spoken to a child, less abstract. Fortunately, the same laws can be phrased so that even a young child is able to carry them around in mind and heart. First law, everything is possible. If you see, the first law for adults is the law of pure potentiality. The source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from unmanifest to manifest. If you try to explain this to kid, they'll run away. So the first law is everything is possible. We need to instill this idea. Here, Deepak Chopra sir has given the gist of these seven laws. And let's go forward. Second law. If you want to get something, we give it. We always say, give it to receive. And this is the second law. Third law. When you make a choice, you change the future. This is encouraging the kids to make a choice. Their choice now at this present will change the future. So the fourth law, don't say no, go with the flow. And this is very important. Don't say no. Kids tend to give up even before trying. One slight change, they would pause, they will give up. This is don't say no. Fourth law, go with the flow. Fifth law, every time you wish or want, you plant a seed. This is to teach our kids to be mindful. How our each and every thought will be effective. The sixth law, enjoy the journey. It is teaching our children acceptance, perseverance, everything. Many comes under this. The seventh law, you are here for a reason to find the purpose of their life from the childhood. But uh, it won't be annoying them. It would be beautifully blending on with their social life. Let's go and read the next para. On the day I wrote down these simple sayings, I didn't pause to think about them much. But afterward, it hit me. If I had been taught just these 7 sentences as child, my life would have been profoundly different. I would have been knowing something precious and practical at the same time, something that would not have faded as a childhood lesson, but would have ripened into mature spiritual understanding year by year. A child raised with spiritual skills will be able to answer the most basic questions about how the universe works. She will understand the force of creativity, both within and outside herself. She will be able to practice non judgment, acceptance, and truth, which are the most valuable skills anyone can possess for dealing with other people. And she will be free from the crippling fear and anxiety about the meaning of life that is the secret dry rot inside the hearts of most adults, whether they can admit it or not. Many adults carry the fear, which, which was the hurt or anxiety carried from their childhood, and we never realized as an adult. And how our judgment, how not accepting, all these thoughts are coming as and coming back to us. When we correctly know this, masters, and when we correct ourselves, and if we can give that wisdom to kids, and we have to give also, they will live their life happy. And understand this. We are not just changing our kids. As Deepak Chopra has said, and a commendable number of kids, if they change their way of life, we are going to change the society. That's what Deepak Chopra is saying. Let's go, move forward. The deepest nurturing you can give your child is spiritual nurturing. I'm not talking about forcing hard and fast rules on your children, the way we teach them to be good or risk being punished. Each of the seven spiritual laws should be conveyed not as rule or rigid precept, but as your own way of looking at life. As a parent, you will teach much more effectively by who you are, not what you say. We teach by who we are, not by what we say. Beautiful. This itself is part of spiritual perspective. Every child has a spiritual life already. This is because every child is born into the field of infinite creativity and pure awareness. That is spirit. But not every child knows that this is true. Spirit must be cultivated, it must be nourished and encouraged. If it is, then a child's innocent spirit grows up to be strong enough to withstand the harsh realities of an often unspiritual world. Losing touch with the spirit does nothing to the infinite field of creativity, which is beyond harm, but it can do much and to damage a person's chance in life. With spirit, we are all children of the cosmos. Without it, we are orphaned and set adrift. Let's take an example. The seventh law says, you are here for a reason. The child's reason for being here can be put in simple everyday terms, such as, how did I make a difference today? What talent did I uncover? What came to me? A gift, a lesson, a beautiful experience that made me feel special. What did I do to make someone else feel special? So instead of saying you are here for a reason, there is a reason for whatever is happening and whatever you're doing. Instead, instead of asking, find your reason, find your purpose. We can say, how did you make a difference today? What talent did you uncover? So if the child asks such questions to himself or herself, they will be unfolding their energy, their talent. And that's the author is suggesting. These are all simple variations on the basic questions, why am I here? It starts with these questions of what talent did I uncover? And eventually, when a child grows, they will have this inquiry, self inquiry of why am I here? Continuing the topic. We all ask that question as children and only quit asking it because we felt that our parents and teacher didn't really have an answer. A child who has not learned to look for meaning in simple ways will one day have to try to find a purpose in life under much more difficult circumstances. Usually, we postpone the search until our late teens or early 20s, sometimes not until midlife. Unfortunately, the most turbulent stages of personal development, the meaning of life, gets confused with the rebellion and the roller coaster of emotions that are typical of late adolescence, or the growing awareness of mortality that comes in the middle life. In school, we grapple with the ideas of great religious teachers and philosophers. The debate over whether existence even has a meaning engulfs us. I think anyone who lived through the 60s can painfully identify with these phrases of struggle. However, a child who has thought from the age of 3 or 4, you are here for a reason, would face a very different future. Such a child would see the search for meaning in life as a natural thing, the spiritual equivalent of learning your ABCs. There would be no years of postponement followed by desperate inner turmoil. Why am I here? Doesn't have to be a fearsome existential question. It is the most joyful exploration of a person can undertake, and we do our children an immense favor by presenting it as such. A child who paid attention to just this one principle would have a far richer life, a more successful life than countless adults for whom Spirit of God remains forever locked in the world of abstraction. Real spiritual growth changes a person in a paradoxical way. It brings understanding at the same time as it preserves innocence. As parents, we are sorely tempted to distance ourselves from childhood. We do this by seeming to know more about life, when in fact, we have usually just experienced more. We have gotten good at knowing the rules and avoiding punishment, at hiding our weakness with a show of strength, and never letting slip the mask of invulnerability. There is no better recipe for destroying a child's innocence than to destroy our own. In the eyes of spirit, everyone is innocent in all sense of the world because you are innocent. You have not done anything that merit punishment or divine worth. You are new made every day. You are a receptor of experience that never ceases to inspire delight and wonder. There is only one spiritual difference between the innocent and of children and the innocence of grown-ups. We grown-ups are innocent with understanding, and that is what we are meant to impart, while retaining the pure, fresh, pristine quality that comes with true knowledge. So, how to start? How to start teaching these children? We'll see in the next audio.